in just one moment. Plus, we're going to look at how she's now being challenged in the UK. But just to sum up, Pedina, it really does feel like this week was another seminal moment in the decline of brand Meghan Markle, because these mainstream media outlets, which in the past would have been supportive, these celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow just openly now being prepared to turn on her. They're not whispering these things behind her back. It's out there in the public domain.
Yeah, I think we have something that is starting to get momentum. Right. I remember in the very beginning when all this was happening, I said somebody with a name, somebody who has a wide reach needs to come out and say something. And it's taken some years because, we've been talking about this for a while, but it's actually finally starting to happen. And I think other people will now jump on the bandwagon and, Gwyneth and, others are saying something. They're going to want to side with the majority of people and be brave and just say it, because Meghan has tried to intimidate and brand herself as someone to be a voice to reckon with. But no, people really are starting to see that they have to stand up against what is wrong. And it comes down to your behavior. It comes down to doing the right thing by people and just being a good person. You can tell by how Meghan has treated people personally in her own life to show you how she will treat people that are strangers. So don't fall for the fake facade of her trying to show that she's caring and loving towards strangers, when all you have to do is look at how she treats those closest in her lives. And I think celebrities are starting to see that now and wake up to it, because there's a lot of talk behind the scenes with, famous people that, we don't really hear from often in the public domain. And so these whispers are happening more and more, and the word is getting out there. And yeah, people are just going to slowly start to say something, and she'll eventually get the message when, things don't really start going her way anymore. It is starting to happen.
Totally. Yeah. And the thing is, we know what celebrities are like, Pedina, from our previous lives, and they are sheep. They follow the crowd. And so there's been a lot of talk for a long time behind the scenes. Oh, we don't really like what Prince Harry's doing with Meghan Markle here. But for a period, that wasn't the cool thing. The cool thing was to be supportive, especially when they had the endorsement of real game changers in the celebrity space like Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres. What's so fascinating, of course, is that over the past 5 years, Ellen DeGeneres has completely fallen, exposed as a sort of Meghan Markle style bully. And Oprah actually had her reputation damaged because she didn't challenge the Sussex lies. But look, there's been a lot of criticism, as you would expect, from some outspoken celebrities here in the UK too, Pedina. And I wanted to play you a specific moment with the brilliant Alex Phillips hosting on Talk TV alongside Kevin O'Sullivan. I'll get your reaction off the back, but Alex is very much making the case here that not only was Meghan Markle a narcissist, she claims the royal family knew she was a narcissist, and that's why they didn't want Prince Harry to marry her. I need you to do something for me right now. It is free, it is easy, it is simple. Just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's because over 50% of you watching this video haven't done that yet. What about her claim there that, in fact, the royal family were aware of Meghan's narcissism and that was behind their reluctance to let her into the family?
I think Harry should have listened to his family. They would have had his best interest at heart. But I think Harry was just trying to be rebellious and push back against people telling him things that he perhaps didn't want to hear. But unfortunately for Harry, he didn't listen to his family. And, people may say, the royal family is racist or whatever and say all these things. This is a situation where they were trying to tell him the truth. And that's just not true about, the royal family being racist. They're so trying to show inclusivity, but she just is somebody you can't include. You just can't, because she wants to take over. She wants it to be about her. And like she was saying, it's the royal family. Meghan did not want to listen. That is the facts. Harry didn't want to listen. And now they have found themselves in the midst of a firestorm. I just hope that the royal family is not covering up anything for Meghan. I feel like they're keeping their hands, they're keeping their distance from Meghan. And I think sometimes you just have to pull down and just say, hey, look, we're going to show you, look what you have done. They, I think, have the power to do something with Harry, to really try to show him, stop being taken over by this woman. I mean, Harry is losing control. His whole life is spiraling out of control. It's not going to get better. This is not something that, eventually let's just wait and see what happens. This is something that is going to destroy this man. We already know he's had issues. I think the royal family at this point, they saw it in the beginning. And now we're at a point where you need to go save your son. He has had issues in the past with his mental health. He has had issues with substance abuse. How do you try to not do something to save the inevitable that could be happening? Because I really do feel like Harry is in not a good spot right now. You can see it on his face, and then how he lightens up when she's no longer around.
Oh, of course. But then in tears at the Invictus Games closing ceremony. Yes. And everyone tries to say that it was because Justin Trudeau, his bro, was being so nice about him. No. That's not my take. The pressure on him had become so serious because Meghan had obviously defied him in terms of releasing the images of the children, and he just lost it in a way that his mother used to. I'm really interested, Dina, though, to see the backlash against Meghan and Harry go mainstream in America. We saw Jack Osborne in that Bert Kreischer podcast. Now, this is very much mainstream American opinion, and it must be the type of thing that is particularly damning to Prince Harry, because these are the types of celebrities who he used to have on side, and now they're openly mocking his wife and questioning Harry's life's choices. It's so often you get truth in comedy, right? And there's a lot of truth there.
It is so true. I mean, come on, really? You knew. Come on. I hope, oh my goodness. I mean, wouldn't it be just great to have her, on a podcast where, he's interviewing her, and, that will never happen. But I love to hear them speaking about this. It shows you how the American audience is really starting to see from the actions of Meghan and Harry who they really are. And now people are picking sides. And I, think it's wonderful, because there is a lot there, because Meghan, I'm telling you, is like no other when it comes to just a train wreck. And we love a train wreck. And this is such a big deal now, I think, for people to talk about. I absolutely love it, especially men. Men usually don't really talk much about the royal family, but hey, we've got something to talk about now. And they even get it, right? They even see, come on, Meghan, really? You didn't know he was a prince? Yeah, this is something that a lot of Americans are waking up to, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. But what was fascinating, because what I want to do, P. Dina, is look back at the week in terms of the coverage. And it's really critical to have some idea of whether the publication was a woke publication that was previously in favor of Harry and Meghan. And so let me start with this example in The Guardian, because The Guardian is the wokest of the woke newspapers, and The Guardian always wanted to be in full support of Meghan Markle and against the British royal family. But even they are no longer in support. So this headline, Meghan's rebranded herself and it's another valiant attempt to flog poshness to the little people, is, I think, again, absolutely damning. Let me take you through a little bit of what Emma Brox reported or wrote. She's an opinion columnist, in fairness. She said, "It's ridiculous, of course, as is the hello little people tone adopted by the former Royal Highness in keeping with the general attitude of the famous towards the unfamous, namely one of stating the bleeding obvious as though sharing the key to existence. Meghan is a minnow in these waters, but of course has her own secret weapon she isn't shy about using. In the new video, she deploys good old Harry to hold up the camera phone and drop a few posh tones to remind us that even if as ever isn't royal exactly, it is at least royal adjacent. Both brands have an aspirant lower middle class vibe about them, which it would be rude to point out were it not for the fact that Harry and Meghan trade on class as part of their branding. What they are selling isn't poshness itself, which strictly speaking should entail low comfort, hole in the elbows, bad cooking and drafty homes. But much like Trump and his performance of Billionaire, a kind of poshness they imagine might appeal to the peasants. And look, I know The Guardian obviously comes from that left-wing perspective, but again, damning. And these were the people that they thought they could rely on, P. Dina.
Yeah, I think it's like what I said earlier about with Gwyneth, you know, people are starting to speak out and have the courage to, you know, you see the elephant in the room, you better say something. You can no longer just ignore it. And people just can't ignore it anymore. And, you know, trying to appeal to the little people, yeah, like let them eat cake, you know, you can't be like this in social media. I mean, you know, everyone is so aware of everything you do that your life essentially is an open book on the internet, and people are going to call you out. People have voices. You know, you talk about, you know, not being able to have your voice, Meghan. Look, you know, you've empowered a lot of women to come out and speak and have a voice with your nonsense. So yeah, we're coming out and saying something. And I love this because this is what needs to happen. People, those publications, opinion pieces need to come out and call a spade a spade. Hey, look, girl, you're messed up. You're wrong. And you just have to wake up and try to be better now, because your life is not going to get better moving forward. Not with people turning on you like this. It's like you have to recognize the obvious. It's like, we can't see you. Okay. It's just like, she's just trying to go about her business like all is good in the world. Humdy-dum. We're looking at you. We see you and we're going to call you out, girl. Okay. We're going to call you out. And better stop.
Yeah. And what's interesting, PD, even those that don't want to call her out are having to call her out. So I found another example from the pro-Meghan media this week. It's the London Standard, an article by India Block. Now, this woman is mega woke, right? But look at the headline. Will anything ever go right for Meghan Markle? Not if the haters have their way. So that's trying to blame people like you and me, P. Dina. But then you dig into the article and India Block writes, still, Meghan seems determined to remain connected to the questionable institution that she rejected as it rejected her. Even on the other side of the ocean, she is still assisting in the project of applying a rosy haze of palatable jam-on scones nostalgia over the British Empire's redoubtable legacy. Now, of course, I totally disagree with India Block, who's like a royal-hating, British-hating writer. But what's interesting is that Meghan, again, is annoying her base, because it's like, I thought you hated these guys. I thought you hated everything the Royal Institution was about. But this seemingly is what this brand is trying to get at.
Yeah, she's trying to be that brand of royalty here in America, like trying to adopt her own kind of royal standard. But no, we have that already. And I don't think anyone's going to fall onto Meghan's royal type branding. She is pretty much, I think, lost in what it is that she wants to do. She's trying to cling to something that she claims was something bad for her. And people are not falling for it. I just find her to be really a hot mess, Dan. I think she has embarrassed herself beyond repair. And I just don't understand it. Like with what I wrote on X, it's like, don't you have money? Don't you have the wherewithal to do things the right way? It just seems so ghetto and no class. Like, you're trying to have class, but you don't. And it's like, we see you don't, but you're like, I still do. And it's like, it's like, I can't believe what I'm watching. It is so embarrassing at this point.
It is. Well, actually, on that note, I did have to say my favorite headline of the week was from Mamma Mia, and the columnist who just wrote, I believe in my soul that Meghan Markle is trolling us and I'm eating it up. But the thing is, Dina, she's not. She is serious about it all.
She's very serious. It's like, that's why I said, get your popcorn. Because we are watching a soap opera. She's living the Truman Show. We are watching her and she thinks she's doing one thing and we're seeing another. It is unbelievable. This is history making at its best.
Dina, though, what I do want to call out is the pro Harry and Meghan media, though. There are a few outlets, believe it or not, that still remain propagandists for Harry and Meghan. They are the ones that literally get the phone calls and run this positive publicity. They sort of ignore reality. It's very, very bizarre. Omid Scobie has retired. Even he can't continue with somehow trying to spin the absolute bleak reality of the Sussex's business lives, but there are some who do. So let me take you through some of the astonishing spin of the week, Dina. So we had Us Weekly reporting how Meghan Markle's As Ever logo represents her love with Prince Harry. And the briefing to Us Weekly, and we know this would have come directly from Harry and Meghan, is that Us Weekly understands that the palm tree was chosen as a nod to Meghan and Harry's home in Montecito, where they live with their 2 children. Meanwhile, the hummingbirds were chosen because they are a favourite of Harry, Us can confirm. And there was more of this rubbish in Tatler as well, which reported a subtle nod to Prince Archie. Meghan Markle's As Ever logo is full of poignant symbolic meaning for the Sussex family. So they try to claim that actually, no. The hidden reference is actually not about Prince Harry. It's about Archie. So that was how Tatler went. Then Hello. And I mean, this was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? You're crazy. So Hello magazine reported Dina. I remember after everything we saw and reported on their relationship at the Invictus Games, but Hello goes with the headline, Inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's unbreakable bond at life-changing Invictus Games. Now, what's interesting, of course, Dina, is that these pro Harry and Meghan publications are becoming few and far between, but goodness me, they still drink the Kool-Aid. And are there some people who believe this stuff?
They want people to believe it, but I don't think that they really will. I think it's just a headline that Meghan may have, I don't know, helped to pay for or something, because these people are trying to give us some kind of sense of goodwill and things are all great. No, it's not. So how can you say this? I think it's for the people that really don't pay attention, that are just reading certain headlines and are just kind of going with the flow. But the majority of people read right through that. And I think it's just Meghan trying to get herself some paid PR to sound good and to be a good person, to keep her essentially then in her delusion, to keep her there. These headlines, that's all that they're doing. They're just keeping her where she wants to be. She doesn't want to be in reality, because if you really wanted to succeed, you would listen to the people who are in the real world telling you something is wrong. You wouldn't try to cover it up with these nonsense headlines, because forever is never going to be Harry and Meghan. I can tell you that, because we already see the cracks now. Just keep talking your delusion.
Well,
that's what it is.
Indeed. So, Dina, I actually just wanted to give these few propagandists that remain just a little reminder that it's actually the independent media that is now revealing the truth about Harry and Meghan. Obviously, you do so brilliantly on your channel. We do so here. And this was the coverage that dominated across the week of the Invictus Games on Outspoken that the MSM continues to ignore.
The discussion began with comments made during a podcast appearance where Meghan Markle's relationship with Prince Harry was openly questioned. The point that resonated with many viewers was the skepticism about the idea that Meghan did not fully understand who Prince Harry was when they met. The argument being made is that Harry's royal status was widely known internationally, making that aspect of the story difficult for some critics to accept. Whether you agree or disagree, the reason these comments gain traction is that they came from people outside the traditional royal commentary world. This was not a palace insider. It was celebrity culture commenting on celebrity culture. What makes this moment interesting is not simply that criticism exists. Criticism has existed for years. What appears different is the willingness of public figures to express it openly. The argument being made is that some celebrities who may previously have remained silent are now speaking publicly. That does not necessarily prove a dramatic shift. But it does suggest that the conversation has become less one-sided than it once appeared. A major theme of the discussion is the idea that Meghan Markle's public brand has become increasingly controversial. Critics point to the reception of her recent business ventures, interviews, and public appearances. Supporters would argue that she remains a highly recognizable global figure with a significant audience. The important distinction is between visibility and approval. A public figure can remain extremely famous while facing increasing criticism. Those are not mutually exclusive. The biggest takeaway from this story is not whether one particular criticism is correct. It is that the public conversation surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has become increasingly polarized and increasingly public. More celebrities are speaking. More commentators are questioning the Sussex narrative. And the media landscape appears more divided than it was a few years ago. Whether this represents a permanent shift remains to be seen. But it is certainly one of the most significant changes in the royal conversation in recent memory. If you found this breakdown useful, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think public opinion about Harry and Meghan has genuinely changed, or is this simply another phase in the ongoing royal media cycle? I'll see you in the next video.